Alexander Volkanovski will be fighting Diego Lopes next weekend for the vacant featherweight title, and it should be one-way traffic. I think Alexander Volkanovski is going to be the two-time featherweight champion. I don't, when I look at these Vegas odds and I see Alexander Volkanovski sitting at minus 150 and I just got done watching film, I don't understand the number. I really don't, because when I go back and I watch Diego Lopes, he seems to me like a guy who I don't even know if I don't think he's a championship level fighter. When I look at his skill set, sure, it's good, but there's a lot of things that I do not like about Diego Lopes. And it's the number one thing is very evident. It's his gas tank. It's his cardio. First off, let me say this guy has no 5-round experience. I don't know if he does on the regional scene. I don't know, but he has no 5-round experience in the UFC. So that's something that needs to be talked about a little bit more. Diego Lopes is a sprinter, man. He is, like Chimaev, except he doesn't have that kind of same finishing ability that a Chimaev has. And I do believe that Chimaev actually is a better gas tank than Lopes. I really, was not impressed with Lopes when I watched his, fights get extended. Sure, early on, he's dangerous. He's definitely a dangerous fighter. There's no doubt in saying that his submission game is really aggressive. It's really good. He had Evloev in some trouble at times, submitted Gavin Tucker easily, right? He is very good jiu-jitsu. There's no doubt about it. And his striking on the feet, it's not as good as people want to say it is. I'll be honest with you. When I compare him to a guy like Ilia Topuria, they're not even close. Like it's seriously, it's not close. I can see the similarities in the style. And I will say this about Diego Lopes. I think his leg kicks are really, really underrated. He tore Brian Ortega's legs apart. He really does have good leg kicks. Dan Ige tore his legs apart. That's something that I think Diego Lopes does really, really well that nobody really seems to talk about. His low kicks are very, very good, some of the best. But when it comes to his boxing, it's not that good. I don't know any other way to put it, man. It's really not that good. I think that Topuria's level of striking is much, much higher. I think that when you look at Lopes, you do not see any feinting at all. And I think that's absolutely huge. I mean, you're not even going to throw feints at Volkanovski, then you're pretty much banking on Volkanovski to come in and make a mistake, which he doesn't do often. He's one of the smartest fighters we've ever seen, right? His in-fight adjustments are unbelievable, right? Diego Lopes never feints. He's never feinting, never, looking to open up shots. He's kind of just waiting for you to come in and counter or extending his combinations and putting everything into him and running at you, right? I think that he is a dangerous, decent fighter. I really don't think he's, better than some of these other featherweights. I think that Arnold Allen is better than him. I think that Aljamain Sterling in a 5-round fight would be able to beat Lopes. I think that Evloev would finish Lopes in a 5-round fight. But I think if you put these guys in 5-round fights versus Diego Lopes, Arnold Allen, Mavzar Evloev, who he's already fought, Aljamain Sterling, if you put those guys in 5-round fights versus, Lopes, I think that they beat him. They beat him convincingly, right? I think possibly even finish him. I mean, Dan Ige was on the brink of doing it. And even in the Ortega fight, the guy slows down. He slowed down in the Ortega fight. Moments where he's sitting there shelled up, not throwing anything. And that if you're a Lopes fan, you got to be concerned. There's no doubt about it. Because if you're a Volk fan, or you have money on Volk, you'll be concerned early on into the fight. But as the fight progresses, man, the more confidence you'll gain. And I truly believe that Volk is, good enough to be able to withstand what Lopes has to bring to the table. When you look at Volkanovski's skill set, man, like I already talked about before, the fight IQ is off the charts, man. The dude is so smart in the octagon. He's got great striking. He has great footwork. He moves in and out very well. He's very efficient striker, great volume. His cardio, man, this guy could go all day. He has 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds of cardio. Man, it doesn't matter how much you're going to, push this guy. If you take him down, which is probably unlikely, but if you push the pace on him, he'll push the pace on you, right? He is not going to get tired. So that's something that it's got to be concerning for Lopes fans, when it comes to Volk's skill set as well. Great wrestler. He's strong. He has incredible jiu-jitsu defense. I mean, the guy seems unsubmittable, right? I think that, Lopes, while he's very aggressive submissions, it's not like we haven't seen people be able to get out of him. Joe Anderson Brito got out of it, right? Mavzar Evloev got out of it. I think these higher level wrestlers are going to be able to work out of submissions like those, right? You see it with the Armin Sarukian and Charles Oliveira able to work out of those kind of things. You know what I mean? And I believe that Volk is on that level. So not only do I think Volk is the better striker by far, I think he, especially later on in the fight, can take Lopez down and hold him down and ground and pound him, which he does a very good job. He's got good top pressure. He's strong. And it's just that motor inside of Volk. He's just a dog in there, man. Never gives you time to, reset or, stand there. He doesn't do that. And Lopez looks to do that a lot. Go back to the Ortega fight. There's like late second round, Lopez is like this, sitting here like this, and then he'll scratch his chin or whatever the hell he does. And he's a sprinter, low volume guy, and I think that he gasses out way, way, way too fast. I mean, it's unbelievable. Right after, I remember I was watching. I think it might have been. I'm sorry, I keep referencing the Ortega fight, but like I swear, he threw that nasty combination, knocked him down. But like a little bit later on into the first round, he threw another combination. It was just sloppy, man. It was really, really sloppy. I really do think that it's only a matter of Volk getting clipped, right? I think that the concerns with Volkanovski is being in front of a power puncher, as we've seen. Topuria, right? Makhachev was able to finish him, but other than those guys, Chad Mendes, even before that, who hits hard, was able to hurt him. When he's in front of power punchers, there's some concern because his durability is not the best. His striking defense, while it is good, it isn't the best. He leans back often, and you saw Topuria take advantage of that. There are some things that I think Diego Lopez can do to win, but I really do think it should be one-way traffic. I don't really understand the line. I mean, I understand it in some sense, as in Volk is coming back. He's coming back, and he's coming off 2 knockout losses. I understand. He's 36 years old. But even if the Volk that shows up that fought Topuria shows up like that, he wins, man. He looked good in that Topuria fight. Won the first round, landing a lot of volume. And, let's not act like Topuria is on the same level as Lopez. He's not. He's not even close, actually. I think that if a fight were to happen between Lopez and Topuria, Topuria would knock him out in the third or the second round. But it would be one-way traffic, right? I don't think that Lopez is able to win rounds on Ilia Topuria. Not a chance, man. I think that ultimately this is just a fight where Volk needs to stay safe early on, weather the storm. I think his keys to win here is one, weather the storm, right? Use the footwork, use the feints, move in and out, kind of do what you were doing against Topuria, right? But tighten the defense up a little bit. I'd like to see Volk bring his hands up to his body because Lopez is going to look for that knockout shot. And more than often, he's been able to find it in the UFC other than these other fights against Dan Ige or Brian Ortega or Movsar Evloev. But you got to be careful against him because he is going to look to counter. Weather the storm is going to be important. Staying out of danger, it's just stuff I feel like Volk can do. I don't understand, man. Like I said, he wants to take the fight to the mat. I can see him doing it. I think that's something for later on into the fight. But I just think Volk's so tricky, man. I don't see Lopez being able to catch him. I have been kind of shitting on Lopez. I've got to say some things that he does good. He's got a huge frame for the division. He's massive for 45. And obviously the guy hits hard. There's no doubt about it. I mean, first to knock out Sadiq Youssef, right? Hurt Brian Ortega extremely bad. There's danger in Diego Lopez. I'm not denying that. But like I said before, the cardio, he's not a 5-round fighter, let alone he's not even a 2.5-round fighter. You see him fade, right? If it gets to that point, he's done. Evloev had him on the ground and controlled him pretty easily on the mat. Ige won the 3rd round, could have finished him, honestly, if you made Lopez get up. Landed big shots, took him down, controlled Lopez. And Ortega probably didn't win the 3rd round, but he was still competitive up until the point that he got hurt. But man, I just don't like Lopez, man. I don't like him. And I know that, people believe in him and I respect that, but I think the way that he needs to win is not going to be enough, right? He's got to find the chin. If he's not feinting, feigning shots, if he's not, extending combinations, if he's not pressuring Volkanovski and even pacing himself to some extent, I just don't think he'll win, man. I don't know. I don't know any other way for him to win besides getting a finish. I don't see him out voluming, Volkanovski. I think honestly Volkanovski gets a finish here. I really do. Outside of the first or second round, early second round TKO from Lopez. It should be, like I said in the intro, man, one-way traffic. Volkanovski is much, much better than Lopez. It's not really close either. I think that Evloev is better than Lopez. I think Arnold Allen is better than Lopez. And like I said, Sterling is better than Lopez. I even want to go and say that Lerone Murphy could probably beat Lopez in a 5-round fight. I just don't think he is a championship level fighter, and I think we're going to see that. I think that Volk comes out here and he dominates this fight. And if he gets knocked out, I'll be sad. I'll be upset. But I really do not want to see Lopez as a champion, and that's just to be brutally honest with you, because then we're going to have to see the rematch versus Evloev, and we already know who's going to win that. Nothing's going to change. It's only going to make it worse for Lopez that it's 5 rounds. But guys, I really want you, if you're a Lopez believer, to please go and watch some of these fights, the Ige one specifically, the Ortega one specifically, and just notice the volume discrepancy that you see from the first round in the third round. It's not even close, right? And I just fear for Lopez, because if he's not able to get him out, Volk will go to work all day. He's a machine. Nobody's going to stop him if he's able to flow in and out. But I just don't see it from Lopez, man. I think he's too low volume, not enough cardio, and even when it comes to his technique on striking, it's not even close to Volk's either. I expect Volk to win this fight pretty easily. And the number I'm looking at is looking good. It's looking really, really good, and I think people will kind of see that Volk is rightly the minus 200 favorite here. But anyways, man, I hope y'all boys enjoyed. I will be breaking down the Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler fight as well. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope y'all enjoyed. Catch you in the next one.